the gains. Land grabbing, wife sharing out ancestral remains. 3,800 acres gone out the door. Our could have caused this, we can't take no more. Fool me once, that shame on you. Fool me twice, that shame on me too. Nearly 20 years, this trick stop blowing so we get fool, and still they want more. Our could have caused this, our could have caused this. Robin Hood in blue, not a hero for true. He raping with future, selling out we land. Brim gun, mad. Can't others could have caused this, our could have caused this. Room for 10,000 friends, none tied to the sand. Poor man cry, we can't take no more. Our could have caused this. Tell me what we voting for.
On Target.
So I'm your host, Kelvin Daly, and I thank you for joining us once again.
Join the conversation.
I looked at it on Facebook and I read the speech and I'm trying to find out what is the commitment to renal failure in Nevis, and I'm yet to find it.
Be a part of the debate.
What he needs to do is to allow the people to do their work in accordance with the relevant legislation, and he must not overreach, because when he makes those suggestions, he is in a sense misleading the population here.
Speak your mind. Defend your country. Call in. Numbers to call: 869-669-7312. That's 869-669-7312 or 917-460-2187. That's 917-460-2187. On Target, here on 2020 Vision Radio, every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. On Target. Be a part of it.
Let us put our hands together for Papa Wheeler.
Suicide bomber, bring it up to shout for me. I want them to roar, boy, roar for me. Anything you want, you go get, boy. I'm mixing up the soca with some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and labadira. ID no necessary, boy. Whisker lips a mercenary. Bring it up to shout for me. I wanted to roar, boy, roar for me. Maintain your impulso, Toro zombie and beater. Take it away. Local fans decreasing. By the numbers they keep dropping. Nobody don't shout no more like they used to shout before. Boy, disgruntled fans they crumbling about promised songs. Fail on delivering. Start song and can't finish it. It's standard English, singing stupendous nonsense. Why don't you sing a song and again? Tell me what happened to me fair share when the money disappear. Ooh yeah, boy. Stuart, if in question here, bring it up to shout for me. suicide bomber. Bringing them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. I'm gonna be mashing up the complex. Yes. If they don't provoke king, boy, I'm doing like the doctor. Placing your campus suicide bomber. Boy, bringing them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. Anything you want, you go get. Boy, I'm mixing up the soca with some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and lavandera. I didn't know necessary. Boy, we got lips of mercenary. Bringing them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. Maintain your impulso. Todo zombie and Peter. Boy, take it away. I'm gonna be chartering airlines. See preacher, see taxi. Bringing them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. You don't know. You got to spend big money if you wanna win monarchy. I go got the diaspora. 420 in my corner. Boy, share the life, boy. Press like, subscribe, sharing. All here in the diaspora's king. Your king gonna be knocking on your airport. Knocking down hospital walls. Boy, training geothermal. Let the Jewish people sing the song. These Hebrew boys don't understand. Becky, that is out for me. I want them to roar for me. I'm rocking down the complex. Yes, if they don't throw me king, doing like the doctor, president, campus, suicide bomber. Bringing them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. Anything you want, you go get. Yes, I'm mixing up the soca with some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and lavandera. I didn't know necessary. Please got lips of mercenary. Boy, bringing them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. Maintain el impulso. Todo zombie and Peter. Keep the momentum. Everybody is welcome. Thank you.
Papa Wheeler.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of On Target. And as usual, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm your host, Kelvin Daly, and in studio with me thus far is the man himself, brand new haircut, looking sexy and sweet, man, Tulu Weeks. And for those in the diaspora, of course, good afternoon to each and every one of you. If you're on the FM dial, YouTube, Twitch, or of course on the Facebook feed, welcome to this edition of On Target. And as usual on a Saturday afternoon, Danny will be a bit late. He has teaching duties for our students. You do recognize he teaches languages. He's quite fluent in French and Spanish, and so he's a special type of person. All right. Let me pay special attention to those who made podium today. First up on the board, my girl over there in St. James, Charlene Jeffers. How are you, my dear? Michelle Libert up there in Canada is number 2. Rhonda Brown down there in St. Martin, number 3. And Cecile Hobson over there in St. Thomas's. Good afternoon, my dear. Did I see you last night? I don't remember if I saw you last night. Did I see you last night? I'm getting old, you know. Did you see Cecile last night, Tulu?
If she was there, I missed her.
If she was there, we missed her.
But then the truth is, I cannot tell you all who was there because
there was a lot of people. Yeah, all right. Rio Tafari, number 5. All right. And then coming down the line, Lorette Wharton is with us, and so is Elvis Leslie. August Washington. August, you have not been in class too much these days, you know. What's going on with you? I don't recall. Let me look through my notes, because I'm going to send you a suspension letter. I have to write you up. I don't see August being in class for some time now, unless he sneaks into class and misses the register, but I don't see his name here in my book. So, August, expect a letter from me soon. Dion Flanders up there at Alexandria Hospital. I guess she's off today because she's listening. Oral Joseph and Miller Lawrence all in the house. Jeff Pemberton never misses class, not like August. And the best dressed man on Nevis, Patty Fleming. I didn't see him last night either. He was not there. I would have seen him. You know, he's always shiny.
There were some persons who were around and they stayed in their vehicles.
Well, that don't count.
Sure
that don't count.
No,
I don't count. If you're saying vehicle, I'm not counting you.
The rain was coming.
If I could get wet, anybody could get wet.
No, you say you love wet.
Yeah, I do.
I'm saying, hey, you they love wet, and
I don't mind. I don't mind.
I didn't want one drop on me.
Ingrid Daniel Farrell is in the house, and so is Norma Jean down there on St. Martin. And from St. Thomas, Delicious Dillis Brown is in the house, and so is Tonya Powell, way down in Texas. She's with us, and so is Catherine with a K, France. Simileta Ovaltine Jeffers. I didn't saw Simileta either last night. I wonder if she's 70. You wonder? I don't know.
I'm not wondering.
You know she is?
I'm not wondering.
You're not wondering?
No, whether she is.
Because she never misses. She never misses these kind of things. So I'm wondering if she...
Circumstances beyond control sometimes.
You're not similar to her. You're always defending her. Oh, Lord. Dolgia Dow Penny down there on St. Kitts. And Pearl Francis, Patrick Globemaster Hanley is with us. And so is Hildred Davis. She was there last night. One of the first persons I saw was Hildred.
I didn't see Hildred last night.
Yeah, and she was celebrating birthday.
Oh, yeah, I think we sang for her.
Yeah. And so if she could come out, if Hildred could come out on her birthday, I can't see why Patty couldn't come out.
She was looking,
unless she was working.
She was looking splendid as usual.
She was looking scrumptious.
Every time I got on a particular road, I saw her say, listen, she's looking scrumptious, I call it? Okay. Okay.
Burl Jones, good afternoon to you, my brother. Judson Barton, who is also, I believe, celebrating. Is it today or next week? Judson, drop me a line. Let me see when your birthday is. Is this? I know we sang for you Thursday, but I'm trying to recollect, what day exactly is your birthday. Let me know. And then Marcella Barbecue, BQ Jones is with us. And Bumpy Moving, the gentle giant from down the old hospital road, is in house. Danny Passin. That's a new name. I've never seen that name before.
Welcome.
Danny Passin. And he's saying, good afternoon, guys. I'm in class. Wow. Okay, we missed you. So you didn't call that name, did you?
No.
Well, whatever it is, we're glad to have you.
Maybe it's the first time.
Judy Cornelius Webb from Judy Cornelius Webb Estate. Most present last night, as usual. She never misses out. And who else we have here on board so far? We have Jeanette Grell Hall over there in Budgeon Estate. And who else? You have D. Keynes, Tamaki Saladid, and I just said Lorette Wharton before. Jasmine John down there on St. Croix, longtime friend. You know, I think she was in love with my brother Steve at one point. Or Steve was in love with her. I'm not certain how it went. You know Jasmine John, right? From up there, Grove Park.
Yes.
Beautiful young lady.
I spoke to somebody, mentioned Jasmine to me yesterday. As a matter of fact, they want to get in touch with Jasmine.
I think she's married now, so she's off limits.
It's not be coming on. It's not coming.
Jasmine,
it's not coming on board.
I don't know your situation, so I'm only joking.
I think the person said that I spent a lot of time around them when I was a child, and went away, lost contact. I would love to make contact.
Okay.
Jolly died, the mother died, and
yeah, her mother was a queen. I mean, she's always so well put together, and Jasmine followed suit. Yeah. You know, Danny Passon is saying, I'm in England, always in.
You had a crush on Jasmine?
I wasn't allowed. I think my brother Steve had feelings. We don't cross swords.
We don't cross swords.
No.
Okay. So if your brother didn't have feelings, you would have had feelings?
I couldn't have either because I had feeling for somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Puppy love. Puppy love. You know, high school times.
So JD was right last night when you said
no, JD was not right. No, JD was not right. That was when I was young and strong. I'm not that way anymore. Let's get on.
Oh boy,
Let's get on.
That was sweet.
No, it was not.
To me.
No, it was not.
Maybe that was the first thing I laughed about.
That was my former life about 40 years ago. Yeah. I've since moved on with more mature things. All right. And Danny's saying, Daily, you are my guy. Make me laugh. Okay.
That's what we're here for too. Serious business,
serious
with some
business.
laughter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have to laugh, Danny. You know that how it goes. You have to laugh to keep from crying.
Solomon tells us that laughter is a good medicine.
Yes, I believe that. Heals the soul. So, Jetzel is celebrating on Thursday, the 20th. So she's gonna get 3 greetings.
Well, this is gonna be a special day because my wife will be celebrating on the 20th also. I'm not gonna forget this time around.
You wouldn't.
I got somewhat of hammering from you and Carla. I still have to remember this one.
Well, you see, Jetzel is such a queen that I feel obligated
to sing for her.
To sing for her again. Today, and then on Thursday again. So she gets 3 from 2020 Vision and us folks.
Okay.
Because she has been such a good student.
All right.
Right. So we can't wait for Danny. I think Danny is in love with Jetzel.
I'm happy that he's not here.
I'm glad he's not here because he would have, blown off the roof. Mm-hmm. Violin Ali, good afternoon to you. But we're going to sing now for our good friend Jetzel Barton. She's celebrating. All right? Let's go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. And as usual from us in the studio, may you live to be 101 and us 101 minus a day, so we don't have to see you go. May God continue to bless you with good health, strength, and of course, wealth. Amen. Amen to that. Now let's get on because we got a full slate. I send get well soon greetings to my good friend LCQ up there in Florida. She called me a while ago and said she's down with the flu. And, she's drinking Hammond and lime, and so she is spaced out and sleeping. So don't expect to hear her today or hear from her today. Well, I'm glad she has a little libation. I'm glad she has a little, Hammond to help soothe.
Chesley introduced that to me. A time when I had a cold it was not the flu that came down big. You could have stopped from here down the street and hear me.
Oh yeah.
and
That's bad.
and then it was real bad.
Way down in the lungs.
Way down, and he introduces that to me. I say, well, the libation I could find, but I can't find no lemon. He said, I have some orange. And
Same thing.
And he brought me some,
Uh-huh.
and by
And it worked.
it works. So
I'm
that is
telling
what
you.
I use up to today.
Hammond and
when I
lime.
get in the libation. Didn't say anything about Hammond.
Oi.
I use a libation and some lime, and it works well. So I said to anybody, okay, the flu is coming on. Get a little bit of libation.
I don't wait for it to come on. I drink it all the time.
You use prevention.
Prevention.
Better than you.
Let me say good afternoon to this beautiful lady. Robin Latham is in house. Good afternoon to Robin. I hope you are having a wonderful Saturday. Thank you for all of the interventions and the cooperation and the links. Thank you, my dear. Blessings. All right, Kitchen King just signed on. Just beat the clock. All right, let's get started. I want to report on the rally last night up there at the Brown and Hart Court. It was stupendous. It was fantastic. It was, I couldn't have asked for a better turnout. I couldn't have asked for such great presentations. I believe if you had to give an award last night for presentations, I'd give it to J.D. Keynes out of St. Paul's. She's the caretaker of St. Paul's. She was just brilliant. She touched all of the buttons. I was getting goosebumps just listening to her, and I was standing right in front of her, and she...
Seated right in front of her?
Yeah, I stood right in front of her.
I
seated in front of her, yes. So I heard every word. I clung to every word. She was just magnificent. And
until she spoke about you.
Yeah, she made a mistake there. Yeah, but it was great. Dr. Hardy was a bit under the weather. Well, not a bit, plenty under the weather. She struggled to, her speech, and you could see the pain that she was enduring, but she stood like a soldier. She stood like a soldier and delivered. So I thank her very much for staying the course, and she stayed till the very end. She did not cop out and go crawl into her bed. I could see she was really struggling. She was sitting right next to me in the stadium, and so I can testify that she was really a bit strained on the last night. And of course, we had Miss Lawrence, Carlin. She delivered short and sweet. Carla, the chairman, always a brilliant chairman. What's her name? Mr. Gaskell, Charles Gaskell. He touched a lot of people last night. I don't think people realize how deeply and how soulfully he is. He really spoke from the depth of his heart last
Almost
night.
to tears.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was really moving, and he spoke like a real Nivision, as a Nivision should feel, and it's a shame that persons who, what we have here, we have persons who are naturally born. Charles was born in England. He told me he wanted to be born here, like he had a choice. He didn't have a choice.
It's a lovely place, man.
Yeah, and he told me his birth was complicated, and therefore they felt it safe to have him delivered in England and then, return to Nevis. And so I've known the Gaskells for 40 years or so. So I knew Gaskell before Charles was born. So it was a pleasure to have both Father Gaskell and Son Gaskell at the event. But all the other attendees, the stadium was packed. A lot of people stayed in their vehicles because of the rain. I guess I felt more comfortable there. And so we had a wonderful turnout, wonderful event. I would have done my little part to bring some clarity to the meaning of sovereignty and the implications of losing your sovereignty. So I do thank all those who appreciated the little bit I did last night.
I was very moved last night to, first of all, to see Daddy Gaskell was there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, plugged into what is taking place. He's a fighter for the people of Nevis, a champion for the people of Nevis. And I have convinced myself that he loved Nevis more than his born in land.
Mm.
And then I was also fascinated to see DJ Marisho and Mr. Lawrence and a couple of other persons from St. Kitts who came over to join us in this rally. And it felt good because I've been making the call for us as Kittitians and Nivigians to join together and prosecute this matter. It is a vexing issue that is going to affect not only the people of Nevis, but also the people of St. Kitts. And so I am looking forward to the 24th of this month and looking forward to having a contingent from Nevis joining me in Bastille as we continue to bring awareness to this matter, because the more I listen to the Prime Minister and the Premier of Nevis, the more frightening it is what the intentions are. And so we have to come back and combat that. I personally will love to see something that mirror what CCM did in Charlestown when Mark Banty lost an election and helped to create a ruckus in Charleston without the violence, or what happened back in 1992, 1993, when the Labour Party forced Kennedy Simmons to call elections early because they did not like the outcome of these elections. This is far worse than that. This is more impacting than that. And those two things. And so therefore, we need to come together with that same passion, with a greater burning desire to save the patrimony of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so wherever we are gathered, please let us come together and prosecute this matter together.
All right. All right. Yeah. Where are we now? Yes. That's a little bit of a reminder. Oh, yes. We did have a contingent from St. Kitts.
Yes.
I think they were from the PLP.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw some yellow, orange shirts. We had about maybe 4 or 5 members from the PLP who came over for the rally. We had DJ Marisha who came over. We had great representation from all 5 parishes. So it was. The rain did not stop. Did not stop us. It was raining, and it did not. It just made us more energized. So I do thank all.
And you know what is impacting to me too about last night? People came out even though they were not promised drinks and eat and whatnot.
And we had none.
They came out because they are concerned and passionate about Nevis. The other side, where they do anything, they walk with food to bait us,
Well,
like we are fishes or birds or something.
Well, and of course, Tulu made his presentation short and sweet, and it was great. It was all. I felt like I was home. I felt good. I felt comfortable with it. All right. Let's get started. I just remind you, the New to Your Sale, the St. Paul's New to Your Sale, is next week, Saturday, right in front of the old Customs building in Charlestown. And again, I make the appeal, if you do have any household items that you wish to dispose of, items that are in good condition, that would not embarrass you giving them away, we'll be glad to have them. There are persons less fortunate who are trying to build homes and build lives, and at whatever little easement they can get, they always seem to be interested in getting a little help, rather than buying retail and having to pay exorbitant prices. If you have something you want to dispose of that you have no longer a use for, we'll be glad to get it and pass it on to somebody who really needs it. All right. The St. John's constituency branch of the NRP will be having a one-pot lunch on the same Saturday at 11 o'clock. All right. Right there by Pancos, across from Pancos in Coal Hill. And you have on top, you will have cook up with pork and without pork, goat water, conch chowder, and seafood pasta, along with local drinks. And it's only $20. 20. That's EC, not yours. All right? So go out and support the St. John's constituency branch next week, Saturday, 11 a.m. at Coal Hill. All right. Those of you who have been following the press or the activities on St. Kitts, you had in this past week 2 very important events. One was the Palm Town Hall, where they had an array of lawyers discussing the constitutionality of the SSZ, among other things. And then you had the former Prime Minister, Dr. Harris, presenting a press conference, PLP press conference. And so, very interesting. We're going to get back in a minute after this phone call to see exactly what is going on here. Good afternoon, you on target.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daly.
Good afternoon.
And the rest of you. I am profoundly humbled to see the fight and the struggle that we are doing, and I must say we because I'm included, to keep this matter that we are facing under control, and let us continue to be strong, because we cannot take for granted what these traitors of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis are doing, and that narrow down to their leaders. That problem, that generation to come, if we don't solve that problem, will be treacherous, and it will be a situation that I doubt if these generation to come will be able to fight this fight. So we cannot be distracted by not continue this fight. This discouragement is not an option. Continue moving forward is the fight.
All right.
So once again, to all who support and all who shall and will continue to support this movement of hell no and hands off our lands to continue. So
thank you very much for that, brother.
I am breathing, I am blowing, I am pushing my strength to all of you. And please continue to receive.
All right.
So that there will be an end.
Thank you very
One
much.
One question I need to ask.
Yes, please.
One question I need to ask. After we have defeated all these traitors, what next for them? Shall we let them go free? Shall we let them stand for the ramification of the wasted energy that we put out just for our own things, or we let them go free?
Well, I think the electorate will deal with them. Thank you for calling this. All right. So we had two important events, two political parties out of three on St. Kitts, PLP and PAM, who have now stood firmly in opposition to the SSC, and they have made their feelings known publicly. They're not hiding to say what they feel. And so on Nevis, you have the CCM who is opposed, who is pro SSZ. Of course, the NRP is anti-SSD. On St. Kitts, you have the SKNLP Labour Party, who is the government, and they seem or appear to be in bed with the developers on this matter. And so out of 5 political parties in the Federation, 3 against, 2 are for. So the 2 that are for, coincidentally, have been showing evidence of a political alignment ever since 2022. They have been showing evidence that they're indeed an informal coalition. Because when you examine the activities of the Premier of Nevis as leader of the opposition, he is acting as if he is not leader of the opposition. He's acting as if he is a member of the cabinet of Dr. Terence Drew. Now, I am being told that there were 2 SSZ planned for St. Kitts, but because of the heat and the pushback here on Nevis, they have sort of gone underground with those 2 planned for St. Kitts and, ducking for cover. Now, I believe that the SSZ, this particular very acrimonious development, will be on the grounds of which this federal elections will be based. I believe this tug of war over the SSZ will foment into arguments that will determine the next government of St. Kitts and Nevis in the Federal Assembly. It is this divisive. All right? Now, if you are interested in making sure the SSC does not happen, then your choices are very limited. And I explain. If you live on Nevis, for example, a Labour government that is returned to power the next election, and a CCM government or CCM federal seat returned to St. Kitts will mean that we have agreed with the SSC, because those two informal partners are showing every evidence that they intend to pursue, above all of the objections, the SSC development destiny. The only how we can stop this in the parliament is if Labour was to lose 2 seats or 1 seat, and NRP was to sweep all 3 seats in Nevis. That's the only how that math will work out in our favor. Because if Mark Brantley holds on to 1 seat in Nevis and Labour gets 5 seats, they still form the government. SSC still proceeds based on the present alignment of political parties. Nevis will have to deliver itself 3 seats, assuming that the boundaries do not come into play for the next election, which I very much doubt, since we are hearing that there'll be a snap election very early next year. Boundaries will not come into play if that is the case. So it means that we on Nevis have to deliver 3 seats to the federal parliament and hope that Labour loses at least 1 seat on St. Kitts. Otherwise, the SSC, as far as the parliamentary mathematics are concerned, the SSC will proceed. So, the next election, the federal election, and the local Nevis Island Assembly elections, these will be essentially a referendum on the SSC. Those for and those against. That's what it is. This SSC has been consuming every molecule of oxygen in our conversation for the last couple of months. It will be the quintessential campaign for both parties. CCM going to campaign that NRP is trying to stop development, forgetting and not reporting on the consequences of this type of SSZ, with the type of people that will be inhabiting this SSZ. They ain't going to tell you all of that. They're going to say NRP is anti-development. And some of their supporters are already talking like that, foolishly, that NRP is anti-development. It's the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. How can you measure them as being anti-development? These are the captains of all of our industry. They want business. They want to see development. They want to see hotels. They want to see people buying material to build their homes. TDCs and the horses and wherever else. These are the captains of industry. Are you classifying them as anti-development? I don't think so. The Nevis Hotel Association, they're not anti-business. They want business. They want to expand beyond the few months of the year for the tourist season. I don't think our church members are anti-development. The bigger the development, the more money goes in the collection plate. Is that right, too?
It's not always
Yeah.
that way.
So you have this nonsense argument, actually, that for some reason, because we stand against this particular type of SSD, with this particular type of people, with their very particular type of philosophy, that we are anti-development.
But the evidence points to the other way. And I love to remind the people of where we are, how we get here. Again, I am fascinated with the quote from Marcus Garvey, people who do not know the history are bound to repeat it. And so when we think of anti-development, we goes back to the CCM party. They are the embodiment of anti-development on the island of Nevis from its inception. They oppose the development, the expansion of the Newcastle airport. They oppose geothermal for Nevis, even though they claim that, well, Van Samuel claimed that it started under him. Yet they turn around and oppose it. They oppose the seabridge development. They oppose the oil storage depot for Nevis. They oppose the fisheries complex for Nevis. They oppose BEAD developing up water for Nevis. And the flagship, we must not let this go, that CCM was totally opposed to the coming of Four Seasons, to the point where when they realized that they cannot stop it, they told the people of Nevis, do not go down there to work during the construction phase. And then when the hotel was built, they told people not to go down there to work. And then when the people went down there to work, they turned around and tell them, well, they screwed you because Dr. Daniel tell them, do not pay you this amount of money. So you look at the history of the concerned citizens movement and you go back down the road. You realize that these people oppose everything that is good for Nevis, including the education of our people.
But to the point, before Danny gets in on this, let me make one more point. While this will be a referendum on the SSC, it also must dovetail in a semi-referendum way to the other areas where both the CCM and SKLP have been lax and disrespectful to the people of Nevis. I speak to three things. The SSC, which we just mentioned, fair share. Where has that argument gone? Where has that discussion gone? You know, we gave away geothermal. So on all three issues, the complicity of Premier Mark Brantley and Terence Drew, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, in taking away the future of Nevis is quite clear. It is quite clear. And so, while I applaud and recognize the fact that SSC is the quintessential topic for this to vote on in the referendum, in this election, there are also other issues. And I'll tell you something else. The fair share document came back from the World Bank in March 6th, 2025. And we've heard a plethora of excuses as to why there hasn't been any definitive discussion or even cursory examination as a joint cabinet on the matter of fair share. We have not had the courtesy of a conversation regarding the four scenarios that the World Bank would have said they created to deal with and dispose of the fair share argument. Now, the latest we are hearing is that from the Prime Minister is that they're now going back to what the Constitution provides, which is a pro rata population formula, 76-24 or 74-26. Back to the square one. But I doubt that will happen as easily as that sounds, because Dr. Drew, who is the Premier of St. Kitts, elected by his constituents, made it clear that any fair share discussion must and shall include deductions for what the federal government pays on behalf of Nevis. Nevis' fair share of national security, of foreign affairs, of social safety net programs, of health care costs, of dialysis. All of those deductions will have to come out of whatever formulation that is made. He has made that very clear. So, here we are, in the 11th month of the year, 8 months after the World Bank would have sent the report, and we have had no discussions at all to conclude this matter. And this matter not only has to be concluded, it has to go in the Parliament to change the Constitution, to include this new formulation in the Constitution, guaranteeing Nevis' fair share. We have it in the Constitution now for VAT, the revenue sharing arrangement with VAT. And even that, my friends, even that VAT agreement needs to be recertified. It needs to be reimagined to make it impossible. It must be made compulsory that all parties adhere to the Constitution when it comes to VAT sharing. It should not be optional. The Constitution did not create any avenue, I believe, unless I'm misspeaking, for any one party to walk away from the VAT sharing. So that piece of legislation, Mr. AG, has to be reformulated to make sure that all parties concerned, if we are to continue as a federation, all parties must adhere to the constitutional provisions regarding any revenue sharing, whether it's tax revenue or non-tax revenue. This nonsense where persons are simply going their own way, each government doing what they feel like, totally ignoring what the provisions of the Constitution are, simply for convenience, for political expediency. They're simply going along to get along. And so we, the people of Nevis, must understand that neither the federal government constituting the SKNLP in cabinet and the CCM in opposition cannot be trusted to deliver fair share for Nevis. They cannot be trusted to deliver the repeal of the SSD. They cannot be trusted to take geothermal back to Nevis. They cannot be trusted for any of those. And if you are Nevision or a sympathetic Kittitian who wants the best for Nevis, whether you're PAM, PLP, or Labour, you must look across the shark-infested waters to Nevis and recognize that the existence of these two partners is the worst configuration for the survivability of Nevis. I can't put any stronger than this. If this coalition continues between SKLP and CCM, Nevis has no future. Nevis has no future. And I'm not being hyperbolic about it. I'm not being emotional about it. The evidence is there for all to see. Re-examine for yourselves Why is it that fair share has not been resolved with a leader of the opposition from Nevis? Why is it that geothermal has been subsumed under the federal government with a premier from Nevis? Why is it that we have not been able to convince Dr. Drew and his cabinet to repeal the SSC? Why? Because they have decided among themselves this is the direction in which to take the federation and to hell with people on Nevis. Danny, go ahead, please.
Two things, Kel, in relation to the response from the wide cross-section of people in the society. I just think it is foolhardy for any developer to proceed with this destiny settlement when you have such a wide cross-section of people, a mountain of opposition. As I looked at the crowd last night, after 7 o'clock, there was a huge shower of rain, and it didn't daunt people's interest and enthusiasm, which tells me something that people have put the SSZ high on the list of concerns in Nevis. And as we head into an election, that's one critical issue. But the general paralysis of the government, the general failure of the government to deliver on education and health care and all the other things are critical. So I thought I'd make note of that it would be, to me, it would be very strange to see a developer proceeding in a small country where the people are so opposed to something like this. And on the question of fair share, I noticed the discussion has been about sharing resources. But what about sharing all the positions that are available all over the ambassadorial positions? If we take out money for the police force, isn't it also that we have to have a conversation and an engagement into the top management of the force? If we take out money for diplomatic services, those are discussions we should have. But I don't think we've ever had those discussions. The assumption is that those are left exclusively to the federal government. And I say one other thing, Kel. Over the last 2 weeks, a number of people have met me and said to me they didn't get to go to train. I didn't send them to Trinidad, and we didn't send them to Norway or wherever else we were sending people. And one of them said he voted against me because he didn't get to go to train. So I said, okay, so have you been trained since? No. So another one said to me, well, she didn't get to train. So I said, well, go and ask your government. And the response is, Daniel, you know the government not study nobody. So are you just train people, not this government? I said, but which side, but you back? But I know, I say you back CCM. He said, yeah, but you know nobody, the government not study, are we? So I just find it, I mean, a man like you, Kel, can't have your tolerance level for that kind of argument. He votes against it because he said he didn't get to train. Since we left government how long ago, and he hasn't gotten he still hasn't gotten the chance to train. So he's saying that if he...
Yeah, we get the point.
No, he said if he had come during our time...
Yeah, I get the point.
He would have been trained, but I left him there.
We get the point. We get the point.
Let me say something here, and something that Hensley said.
But before you get to Hensley, let me say one more thing. Sorry, Tulu.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a post right after the PAM town hall, the following morning. I think the PAM town hall was on Thursday. By Friday morning, the premier put out a post.
I saw it yesterday.
And he cussed the hell out of PAM and PLP. Cussed PLP and PAM for opposing the SSZ and claiming that here they are, There's a development in Nevis which will propel Nevis into the 26th century, 27th century, opposing it, he says, while they lifted not a finger in opposition to Christopher Harbour, to Kitterson Hill, and to the La Valley development, which, he said, benefited bigly St. Kitts. I asked the Premier, are you criticizing your coalition partner?
That is exactly what he's doing.
You're cussing all the parties in St. Kitts then. You might have named out PLP and Labour and PAM, or you inferred PLP and PAM. But by your further conversation, criticizing the fact that nobody opposed, aren't you in fact criticizing Labour? It goes further. Because in 2018, during the Team Unity construct, it was announced that a development was coming to La Valley. The 6 cents. The 6 cents was coming to La Valley in 2018. In 2025, we were told again that would be another addition to the La Valley development, the Ritz-Carlton. But how come none of those have borne fruit? And how come you have not criticized those? You are a member of the Team Unity from 2015 to 2022. You right now you are a de facto member of the SNLP cabinet. So how come you have not criticized those developments? But it leads to a bigger picture of how Brantley operates. Divide and conquer. At one moment, Kitterson should stay out of his business. Next minute, we should be involved in our business. I don't know where he stands. But the fact remains that we will never, ever get anywhere in this country, especially in reference to Nevis, with the SKNLP in their present position and Brantley in his present position. The writing is on the... You listen, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You've got one brain cell in your head. Look at the dynamic of what we are operating under on a daily basis. And tell me where in this whole operation that you see any daylight between CCM and Labour. Show me where they have ever knocked heads about anything. The leader of the opposition is put there not just by title, but by action. They're supposed to hold the government to account to the people. Supposed to. But when Brantley was asked, why is it that you have not empaneled the public accounts? He said, there was never one. And so, you don't really need it. The most powerful, the most influential committee, standing committee of the parliament. And Brantley is saying, no bother with it. Why? Because he knows that once that panel, once the committee is in panel, it has to work. It must report. It must report on every single major capital development, every budget allocation
that is precisely
that is coming into the federation using federal money. He has to report. Yes. Nobody wants that smoke. No. The Prime Minister don't want that smoke, and Brantley don't want to blow the smoke up his backside.
But we are talking about good governance.
What good governance?
They say that they're for good governance.
What good governance, Tulu? You see any evidence of good governance?
I don't see it.
We were promised all sorts of things by this government. We're going to get to the issues of the marriages. There are 2,000 fake marriages. We're going to get that sorted.
Hush puppy.
We're going to get the hush puppy matter sorted. Mm-hmm. We're going to get the report to National Development Bank. Mm-hmm. We're going to do all kind of things. what have we gotten?
Zero.
Even those things in the public domain that affect Nevis directly. The geothermal and the VAT and the fair share, where are we? Nowhere to be found. And people are asking, and people are saying, well, they're not coalition partners. Well, they might as well be.
But they are.
If somebody's, listen, there's something called common law marriage.
Yes.
And they're church marriage.
And they are biblical marriage.
Right? They are common law.
And legal.
And
they call it legal.
Legal, okay, legal. Common law, you live with a woman for 10 years, 20 years. Is your wife, by the court's decision, is your wife?
3 years.
Or your husband. So you don't have to have gone to a judge or a church to get married. The court deems you partners.
That's the law.
Why? Because they have shared so much over so much time that you're now indivisible. That is why. So, persons are commenting, well, they're not coalition partners.
They are.
I'm sorry. You were making the point about the VAT. I think it needs to be reiterated all the time so that the people of Nevis know how much money we are losing as a result of one government, CCM, not one government, CCM coming in and deciding they are going to change the arrangement. And I really do believe that certain things like this must be in the Constitution, and they must have no sunset provision, and there must really be the opportunity to allow for these things to work. You see, because what happens? It means that, what are we saying? Some millions of dollars per year we have lost as a result of changing the VAT from the initial, the way how it was initially composed. And I'm just saying that it cannot be fundamental things like these when we need money to send our children to school, fix our hospitals, and so on and so on. It cannot be that a party just comes in and decide, oh, well, we're going to change the VAT, when in fact it is resulting in millions of dollars being lost to Nevis. I mean, I want to ask to the CCM people, is it okay for your party to change the VAT arrangement and cost us millions of dollars per year, and that doesn't mean anything to you?
I have criticized the federal government under Simmons, Douglas, and Harris for not insisting that Nevis hold up to the bargain in relation to revenue sharing, both the consolidated funds, our tax revenue and non-tax revenue. And I have now sat back and said, I understand what they're doing. Because they know Nevis pull out, we're getting less, they're getting more. And so I understand the wisdom of them doing it. Because what? They has gained.
You understand the wisdom of Nevis doing it?
No, them think it's not forcing them to comply.
But is Nevis doing it?
Let's go to the call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daly.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Tulu.
Yes, bro.
And my good friend there, Mr. Daniel.
Yes, good afternoon.
Tulu, is the vagabond change the dynamics of the revenue changing, you know? Every minute he going to Tim. That's why he loan from Tim. And Tim decide to draw the line. And just give Nevis the kind of money he was trying to implement to Nevis. He was going constant. I want this, I want that. There was an arrangement. Colonial, where Vance used to follow through with. After Vance passed and the vagabond boy take over, Tim, every minute he going to Tim and Tim decide, well, he gonna give him what he said he want. And then he went back for more. And that's how it get out of hand. But really and truly, Nevis didn't get in the kind of revenue they should be getting. The only man make an effort is Timothy. The rest of them were playing game with Nevis. But when I put the Harris there, he got to understand that it had to be a hand-in-hand situation. And that bridge under Janice, Miss Bartlett, and J.D. Kings must come because we have to bring the togetherness with the bridge. Have a good afternoon, Caroline.
Thank you. There's a comment here that I need to get to. All right. This person, the contributor, Labour and CCM, St. Kitts and Nevis Rhythm, and that comment is Labour has not said one mean word about NRP. In fact, there were conversations that happened during the last election where we believe NRP missed an opportunity. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. I would have made, on behalf of the party, several trips to St. Kitts to meet with Labour in the 2017 elections, 2020 elections, and we would have had conversations for the 2022 elections. At no point was I given the authority to say we are going to form a coalition with anybody. Matter of fact, it is not our style. True. We have never openly campaigned with or formed any coalition with any party on St. Kitts. We've always waited for the dust to settle, let the persons of St. Kitts have the majority say, and we will fit in where we feel necessary. It's a standing position of NRP. We recognize that in the elections of 2022, that Labour wanted to ensure that they return to power. And they would have been trying to form all sorts of communication links with the NRP. And we have told them the same thing. We told Pam, we told everybody the same thing. Fight all your battles, we will come in after the fact. Dr. Douglas understood that. We were in conversations ever since 2015 with Dr. Douglas. He understood our position. When we again had conversations in 2020, he again understood our position. This is not coincidental. It is a standing position of NRP. But they took it personal. And so when they won, they wanted their pound of flesh out of NRP. They wanted their pound of flesh out of NRP. And we saw it, and we keep seeing it, the evidence of it. And to make bad matters worse, when the suicide bomber defected from NRP, who did she run into? Whose arms did she run into? CCM and Dr. Drew. Telling them all sorts of manner of evil about the plans of NRP. And they bought into it. And they have been treating us as pariahs ever since. Every single communication from our party leader to the Electoral Commission, to the AG, to the Prime Minister, to the Premier, have met for naught. We have asked for simple, basic, fundamental reforms to electoral office. No response. Not even the courtesy of go to hell. Not even that. So don't come tell me no stupidness about NRP missed an opportunity. We have been the support of Labour. I spoke at Labour convention in 2017, representing the NRP. Myself and Hensley met with Dr. Douglas on several occasions. Myself, Patrice, and Hector met with Dr. Douglas at his offices at the Frigate Bay and at his office down there at the what do you call it? Port Zante. Mm-hmm. Several times. So don't tell me the stupidness about we missed an opportunity. We have always been there for labor.
And Pam.
And Pam. And what have we had to show? Before Dr. Harris came on board, we were being nickel and dime. Nickel and dime, we come to CBI. My only regret is that Dr. Harris did not see fit to codify the fair share arrangement into law. Because I'm telling you right now, if that had happened then, what we are facing now, we're going to have to realize that we are not going to get the 5.5 billion. Not even close. And one of the reasons why they have been dragging their feet about settling this fair share matter, because it will be deleterious to Brantley going into the next election, because Nevis will get less. Why do you think they're not prosecuting this matter about fair share? They had a whole 9 months. Now we are going into a new budget cycle. Can you see that in 2026 there will be any agreement that will lessen the money for Nevis? Can't happen. Nevis's budget is coming out the first week of December. Think it would follow after that. These budgets are already determined based on projected income. You think that Dr. Drew can allow Premier Mark Brantley's budget to be decreased from 66 million to 40 million or 50 million? It's suicidal for Brantley. Because he has staked so much on it. He has staked his whole reputation on delivering fair share for Nevis. And to come back with less, Dr. Drew's budget in St. Kitts last year, $1 billion budget. Over 550 million came directly from CBI. You think Dr. Drew is going to reduce that input from CBI on his budget by giving Nevis more money? Well, already CBI is struggling down there to make amends. Not going to happen. So if this matter is even negotiated in 2026, it will not be implemented until the next budget cycle, which is 2027. By that time, elections would have been gone. Based on what we're hearing, a snap election is expected anytime soon. So all these guys are doing right now is kicking the can down the road, hoping that nobody notices the noise from the can. Well, Lars, have you heard any conversations about fair share?
So the can is empty.
That's dead.
None. None. Because they recognize the jeopardy they should put Mark Brantley in more than it is already for SSC. Because I can guarantee you, if they stick to the formula given by World Bank and Dr. just sticks to his gun about deductions for national security, for foreign affairs, for social safety net programs, Mark Brantley and NIA will not get $5.5 million a month. Can't happen. Not with the declining shares coming out of CBI. Not with the declining revenue coming out of CBI. Can't happen. Dr. Drew is looking to see where he can cut back right now. And you expect him to give Nevis more money? Or less money?
Less.
Okay.
Because if the CBI receipt was what fueling the government, and you are getting less from CBI, then you have less to go around. And true to form, as Mark would have said, when they're arguing about how much they give Nevis, how much they keep for themselves. Okay? And so it is clear, based on what I've heard from the Prime Minister, that CBA funding has dropped. That is why he promised us the the citizens that out of CBI he's going to give us something, what, every 6 months yearly? He did it one time and haven't done it again because he's saying that the receipt is down. And so to get an increase in Nevis out of CBI while the receipt is down, it's highly unlikely, it's more than likely that there'll be a deduction. As a matter of fact, I have already been told that Nevis is getting less money right now than what they got before. I don't have it confirmed. The Premier has not said that. The Prime Minister has not said that. But somebody who appears to be in the know said Nevis is getting less.
There is a federal government. There's a federal office on Nevis, which basically is a clearinghouse for paperwork.
True.
There's an office there reserved for any visiting Prime Minister, sorry. It's a large enough building to accommodate a small group of people. We have had conferences on Nevis at the Four Seasons, at Mount Nevis, at NEPAC. Matter of fact, there's a meeting with the teachers on Wednesday. All public school teachers on Wednesday are expected to show up at NEPAC to hear the SSZ infomercial. We on Nevis have been asking the Premier, the Prime Minister, since its election on August 5th, 2022, to take a moment, come up on the Coast Guard cutter if you need to be, and come and speak to the people of Nevis.
He can't.
He has gone to Africa. He has quoted Africans. He has gone to Taiwan. He has quoted the Taiwanese. He has gone throughout the length and breadth of America, quoting Nevisians and Kittitians in the diaspora. But yet, 2 miles away, we are still yet to have a conversation, an honest conversation, with the Prime Minister. Why? Because there's this feeling that if he were to speak to the people of Nevis, this will not fare well in the mind of the Premier. So it makes you wonder, who is he in service of? The Premier?
The Premier.
Or the people of St. Kitts and Nevis?
He's in service of the
So
Premier.
spare me my criticisms of how this government has conducted itself vis-a-vis how they treat Nevis. It has not been good.
I want to ask though, I know we get money from St. Kitts and so on. So where is the imagination that should come from the system to generate revenue and money in Nevis?
The what? Imagination from who?
Well, this is new. This dependency is new. In the past, every government before, certainly I could speak to the NRP government, you know you are working overtime daily to generate revenue so that you are able to put the Nevis economy in such a position that it can withstand all other things, including the possible fallout or shortfall of revenue from St. Kitts. You notice this is a new business, Mr. Weeks. When I was in the government, we never saw such. $5.5 million coming every week. Not that we want. And so, so we were busy making sure that we pull in some money. That's why we structured the VAT and argued on the VAT and so on and so on and so on. So, to say, the point I'm making is to say that the economy in Nevis now is just left to the dependency on St. Kitts, so the Premier is excused from doing anything else.
What do we expect when we place people in office who we clearly know do not have the capacity to lead, but we elect them because we say we like them because they can speak? What do we say about people who say, listen, hey, before I got into office one day, I want money, I want to pay. That is a conversation. They have not told you this is what I'm going to do to empower you as a Nevisian to build the economy of Nevis. They built their program and the campaign on, there's to pay out there, and I'm going to take my to pay, and I'm going to take every cent. and we vote for them, what do we expect to get?
Gentlemen, we got to move on. I was informed this morning that, you remember we had a program maybe a couple of weeks ago, or did we? I can't remember now, I'm getting old, whether it was in print on Facebook, something I posted, or did we speak on it here on Target regarding the use of cadastral mapping to find untitled lands, unregistered lands. And I wanted to find out how successful that program has been. And I got a report back this morning that so far, the cadastral survey, the map that has been generated, the map that is being used to find unregistered lands has now turned up 220 acres of land between Long Point and Indian Castle. Before we go any further, let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're on Target.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Yeah, before you move on, or before you go any further to the next topic, I think your analysis just now regarding the election, Labour Party, NRP, CCM, I think it needs to be a little more nuanced than that. Because I think, well, first of all, the Labour Party now is not like the Labour Party even 2 years ago. Trust me. Okay? There is an underlying factionalization in the party. It may not be obvious, but you talk to those in the know in the party, they'll tell you straight off. And you can also glean from some of the more vocal elements in the party. Curtis Crook, for instance, he don't mind if you call him name, I'm sure. Even the Prime Minister's advisor, Edinburgh, has openly said they don't like the Premier. Okay? The Premier don't like them too. But what I'm saying is, it may not be correct to say that the NRP,
basically you're saying,
CCM,
basically you're saying, don't lump all the Labour together in one boat.
pretty much, right? Because that issue may come to the fore when the rubber hits the road.
But caller, spare me a little bit. I can only go by what I'm hearing and seeing. There might indeed be a faction or fractioning of SKNLP, Old Labour and New Labour. We've heard that. But why is it we're only hearing from the New Labour? Why is it the Old Labour is so...
Well, I mean, and that's represented by the Prime Minister, I guess. I mean, he's the one who has the power right now.
So you can forgive me then.
So you would expect...
So you can forgive me, my understanding is that he is the official, of course, the Prime Minister, the head of the party. And therefore, what his word is what we have to go on. His behavior is what we have to go on. While we can go on nuances, we can only go by what's happening on the ground. And what's happening on the ground is not in favor of Nevis.
Well, that's true. But what I'm saying is it sounded almost as if there was a strong link between the CCM and the SKNLP.
It is.
And I think there's more strong link between the Premier and the Prime Minister,
who is head of his government.
Yeah.
How do you separate them out? How do you separate them out? How do you tease them apart?
But if there's disgruntlement among some rank and file Because I don't think.
So why don't they talk up? Why don't they speak up?
Again, it's the power dynamic.
Okay.
Teacher,
right?
Teacher, let me say here, the fact that Dr. Douglas went into Parliament and support this SSZ bill that would cripple the people of St. Kitts and Nevis says to me that I must make this argument that the SKNLP, the Jew Labour Party, do not give two kicks about the survival of the people of Nevis and by extension the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Jew is a big voice for the party. They have shown us clearly that they are anti-NRP. It is absolutely certain.
That is where I was going. I was going to say that after the last election, there were apparently misgivings about the fact that NRP rebuffed Drew when apparently he was making the rounds or the tentative rounds of possible, I don't know if you want to call it coalition, but collaboration to get rid of the unity government. Okay? It is that he was rebuffed. And there's one thing about Labour people. They take these things personally, right? Just like how there are the elements in the Labour Party who take how Brantley used to go on with used to malign Labour personally as well. That is why there's some elements who don't like the rapprochement, if you want to call it that, between Brantley and the Prime Minister. And to be honest, I mean, based on Brantley's record, the Prime Minister, I don't know if he is, I don't think he's that gullible as to trust Brantley, put it that way, okay, based on Brantley's record, okay? So it's what you might be looking at is just a little marriage of convenience, so to speak, right? I wouldn't even call it, what you call it, the common law, not even that, okay? It's a transactional relationship.
To affect what?
Huh?
To what ends?
To make sure that the Prime Minister gets a second term.
And the exchange Brantley gets what?
Still there, teacher?
The call seemed to have dropped.
Yeah.
All right. I think he'll call back. I think the phone, I don't think the power was lost. He was calling on the landline, so we lost contact there. It was an interesting conversation. But let us proceed a little bit.
The cadastral survey.
Wait. I think he's calling back. Good afternoon, you're on target. Hello?
Electricity went down here.
I figured that. Go ahead.
Yeah. You were asking to what end, right? And I'm saying that it's a way, because Jude never really had a chance to consolidate power after he was elected leader.
So he needs
down here, right?
He needs a backup.
So he always have to be looking over his back.
Okay.
Right? And Brantley sees a way of guaranteeing his 5 million or whatever it is there, right? The fact that he was willing to cede control of geothermal over to the federal government is suggests that, look, there was some kind of backroom deal somewhere for these things to happen. They should have been out in the open, because if geothermal come through, and these things are not formed up, even revenue sharing there, just in that geothermal ambit, is a recipe for confusion too. Okay, but I think that dealing with the now Okay. I think the Prime Minister needs Brantley. It certainly appears that it's Brantley who is calling the shots, actually.
True.
And that is why the Prime Minister is he's supportive and at the same time standoffish with this SSG thing. I don't really think...
It's too late.
Too late?
Too late.
You think it's too late?
Brantley has sucked him in to this ridiculousness. Drew is trying to find a way out. He can't find a way out.
There's one way out for him. Repeal.
He's not going to repeal.
Okay.
Because
repeal. But he said he was not going to repeal.
He said he's not going to repeal.
But I don't think he anticipated the kind of backlash. I mean, it's practically all segments of society who are against the thing in the current form, you know.
Yes.
And that is why, and actually I asked Janice this in her...
Gone again?
Gone again.
What's going on down in Sinkit?
Gone again.
I guess he called back. He better call on the cell line because your power keeps going on and off. I mean, we're having our share of that here on Nevis now.
Okay, he's back.
What happened? You didn't pay your bill?
Good afternoon. I listen here. You're talking about
sorry,
the
guy.
Then coming to Nevis and here go all the Africa and so. Let me tell you something. When he was a doctor, he never go so far on the Cuba event, right? So he's frightened. And he got the children. You know, taking children up and down. And that's where you take our money and go up and down. When you bring back from Africa, when you got all them places, where you bring back to St. Kitts and Nevis? When you bring back to St. Kitts and Nevis? You know, tell them man, they want to choke you off, just to go up. Then them say, go on an election with them. Just take up them, lecture them way.
All right.
And what are you supposed to do? You got smart people that think it Nevis. You overthink it Nevis as a federation, and you're not going to Nevis. Why are you shouldn't want the man up there again? No call for him man up there. Tell him man stop them and think it and go where you like.
Agree with you.
All right.
Tell him man go where you like. Because he's going to buy a plane soon. Yeah, kind of money them they're going to spend and come out of office. Start over to the richest man running Caribbean, you know, as a prime minister, you know. So right. To my bad, our good. You know, think it, yeah. Me come think it and me know that. All of the body and all them, the way he had more load of long fence. And I kind of something where he done went into. When you talk, you talk about the song of government, you now go back. I can't talk about Douglas, might bust him out. You can't go back so far. And I don't go begin from. You know, them work this is for Douglas done to think it. You know, no nice man. He is a nice man. And look, Labour people supposed to know that. All right, all the best.
Thank you, man. He vented, boy. That man there with that man got something in his mind. Well, let's continue the conversation because it's a
cadastral survey you're talking about.
Yeah, until the caller calls back if he chooses to. But yeah, we're talking about the cadastral survey that was being done. It has been done here on Nevis. You remember the cadastral software is owned by a land surveyor here on Nevis. And therefore he licenses it out for a fee of $2,500 per year. Very critical piece of equipment if you're interested in knowing the topography of Nevis.
Subscribe.
All the surveys, every road, every street, every inch of land can be determined.
Mm-hmm.
So my understanding is that the persons who are affiliated with the SSD have licensed this piece of software.
Of course.
And they've been using it to track every single piece of land from Long Point all the way around to Indian Castle. And what they have discovered so far is 220 acres of untitled, unregistered lands. Now, the Nevis Land Registry is the deposit or the repository for all land ownership on Nevis. And if it's not there, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but somebody gives somebody else the title, the authority to go interfere with people and take it.
Well, let me get you this first. All right. So what we have discovered through a very intense search is the fact that 220 acres of land have been subsumed under the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation. Remember, since the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation came into existence, there's no longer a term Crown lands. Everything now goes under the corporation. So this land previously used to be worked by people, because persons would have gone, either passed away or immigrated. Land titles have been lost, whether through deed or they never were registered to begin with. Because back in those days, people simply used to cut off a piece of land and say from that tree to that tree, and that stone to that stone is yours.
But that's still evidence.
And persons did not go or had the fortitude to go and get the titles of their land. So, what has happened? Remember, we told you that the Premier's wife has basically enlisted an army of searchers at the land registry to track down all those pieces of land that the cadastral survey has found to be unregistered. Go back, check with the registry. If there is no paperwork, then the Housing and Land takes control of that land.
Oh, no.
You understand? They don't have to post anything in the paper.
No.
They don't have to post anything. That's what I understand. Really? Simply because there is no title, it makes no sense to post anything. That's defeating the purpose. If there's a conflict or you're trying to get title, then you have to post.
Here this skill. No title. No title means no owner.
No title means no owner. What else can it mean?
No. Yeah, but you hear what you just said?
What?
That the delineations in the past were this tree, that tree.
But they don't exist on a map.
Eh? Yeah, but the divisions exist.
By who? In whose mind?
There's none.
But how the cadastral survey is able to find them?
Listen, there are maps.
I know.
You got people's land bounded too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they say, listen, okay, this is Hensley's portion here, this 1 acre lot. There's a lot next to it. Has no title.
It has no title. But Tulu's grandfather used to work.
But then Tulu need to come forward and claim it. Well, they have not done it.
So leave the land so that and put out the thing.
You're making joke.
Put the thing out in the public.
Sometimes I wonder about you.
No.
Because if you're saying leave the thing, you're talking about an exercise where people are objectively looking to co-op land. And you're telling us...
No. The outside of these people here I'm talking about.
This is what we're talking about. This one we're talking about. This is the issue.
They are not entitled to go interfere with people's land because they don't have no title.
Not entitled?
Huh?
What are you saying?
No, I mean the government is entitled to take them and put them under the land and housing corporation.
Of course. Of course.
All right.
If you don't lay any claim to it.
If there's no owner to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with system NRP or anything. If their land's untitled, unregistered, undocumented, and you're trying to build a portfolio of lands in the land registry or Housing and Land, for example, and you discover 200 acres, what do? You put it under the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation as the right thing to do.
But
because then you have utility of that land. But here's the problem I have. It doesn't stay there.
They're going to transfer to somebody.
Because that land is being transferred to the SSC.
But that's the point I'm making. You're going to take up the people's land and give it to private people.
If you're going to keep it for the people of Nevis,
but that's the point.
that we the people of Nevis can have it is one thing. But to transfer it, Crown lands into the hand, because Crown lands it will come down to, right?
No.
And to transfer that into the hands of the premiers. What was the premier's boss? Because I believe it sounds to me from what I'm seeing here. The amount of PR work he's doing. It's clearly that he's working for the developers.
So you're saying they take the land and then short order this is going to be transferred to Destiny.
And flip it over.
That's the whole point of the exercise. You think these people are going around trying to find land for the government? They're trying to find land for themselves.
Since we'll be criminal.
Let's take this call here. Good afternoon, on target.
Good afternoon, Daily. Good afternoon, all the rest of the crew, and to all who are listening. This is the voice of Winston Manners, and I'm going to chime in on the cadastral map, on the cadastral lands.
I hear him.
Now, I am going to defend my grandfather's land. There are documentation, but there is not a COT, a certificate of title. And I am experienced in surveying land and topographical profiles. I have a lot of hats. Now, if there is a map, I mean, I am in New River from Zion High School going back to Butlers, I will say, and I know where those lands are, and I have the mapping and the dimension of 1 acre of land. And I will say it and making it known to all men. My family land is not to be touched by no corporation, because back in those days, land was not surveyed. They were marked by stones or boundaries, so to speak. And there was no confusion pertaining to those lands until now. I know they are not surveyed, but make it known to all man and land grabbers and territorialists. I will war any government, and I am owning this over my family lands. I don't know who else will speak the language that I speak. So, yes, let people know that these cadastrum lands put up their defense for these lands. They not belong to anyone, because my grandfather came to part of slavery and their parents goes back to part of slavery. Untouchable. Winston Manners, welcome. And I stand behind what I said, and I'm not going to change it.
All right. Thank you for that,
Thank you
Winston.
very much.
All right.
That is a statement.
All right.
So you see where we reach now, Daily? You were saying, yeah, if people don't have the thing, they're going to lose the land. The second part of the trouble is where the trouble is.
Listen, if you've had...
Step 2 is where the trouble is.
No, you see, here is the problem. You have to, if you have knowledge of the existence of land that your parents worked or owned or had use of, whatever it is, and after 30 plus years, you have not made any attempt to lay claim to that land, transfer the deed into a title, or even to get recognition of your deed. The lowest form of ownership. If you have not done that in 30 or 40 years, and you have not paid taxes in 30 and 40 years on that piece of land, and Housing and Land comes along, identifies the land through the cadastral survey that these people, SSC people, have provided them, knowing fully well the objective is to take it over. Whose fault is that?
Whose fault?
Whose fault is that?
Oh, I see.
No, I have to answer.
I mean, whose fault is that?
It will be my fault.
You have to take personal responsibility, man.
Yes.
So I can't have my land, they just left it there, so?
No, if your land is there just so.
No.
Knowing that persons are looking to take your land, you do nothing about it.
Okay, all right. That is the point you just make, knowing. Mind you, you just said 30 years. 30 years.
But just think, listen, anything.
These fellas come now. These marauders come now.
No, even without the marauders. Even without the marauders. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine last year. And he said he picked up the Observer newspaper. And in that paper, he saw a application for a COT, or ownership of piece of land. And he recognized right away this land belonged to his aunt, who has been long deceased, and though nobody was there to represent.
So he represented.
And so he had to rush to the court to stop the proceedings.
Family.
He had to stop the proceedings. People will move in quietly on your land without you even knowing.
So where's the safeguard?
The safeguard, register your land.
Dr. Daly.
And if not?
If not, it's on you to lose it.
I
Remember, squatters' rights extend how many years? 12 years. If a man is on your land, make sure even $1 a year you charge him.
Yes.
Because if you do not extract any money for that spot from him to use that spot, in 12 years, uninterrupted, that land can be claimed by that squatter. That is the law. And so if you have land out there sitting down without a title, without even a reference to a deed in the registry, and these people find it and give the coordinates to housing and land, and they subsume it and turn around and sell it to the SSE.
Crop or smoke your pipe.
Crop or smoke your pipe.
Yeah, so you know what this program is to do? Is to raise the alarm for all interested persons. Go and check. Go and check.
Somebody called this program.
Go and check. Go and check.
About 3 weeks to a month ago. And they would have made that same claim.
We got
and
a call.
said to the
Hold
people,
on
go out.
We got a call. It's coming in on the line here. But it's not ringing for some reason. I don't know why it's not ringing. Oh, I see why it wasn't ringing. All right, sorry about that. Here it is now. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. Real quickly, good afternoon to you guys and the listening public.
Good afternoon, sir.
You see, that most recent point that Daly was bringing out, I want to agree with him really about the lands that doesn't have like titles or whatever, right? You see, this enclave that the Destiny that's proposed for Nevis. You see, we can see all of the developments, all of the shortcomings, all of the problems that this project can bring for Nevis. So, as Daly was explaining there just a while ago about the unclaimed lands, the persons, especially in that district and outside the district as well, they've got to get those, as Daly put it, you got to get the deeds transferred into titles, right?
Yep.
You got to get that done, because if you don't get that done, how are you going to lay claim to a piece of land in the first place anyway? And most importantly, the exercise that's going on now of those guys trying to get lands on that southeast side of Nevis, of course, any lands over there that's unclaimed, they're going to try to get it.
Exactly.
Of course.
Of course.
That's exactly. But different than that, you know, the scenario was putting forward to the voters for the next, I'm going to say it straight up, the next election cycles, both governments supposed to fall on both islands. Without a doubt, this SSC law is going to be a referendum on them. At the town hall meeting, Mark is denying the people, or he said that the Constitution don't give the people the right to call a referendum, for them to call a referendum. But it's going to be a natural referendum, though. It's going to be a natural referendum. The people, this issue is going to be a referendum on both these governments. And the scenario to take down the government, the federal government especially, all we got to do in the first instance is to take away one seat and the government collapses. In the second instance, you got to take away 4 seats and leave them with 2. So that when they try to, if by any chance CCM was to get 3 seats, they still won't be able to form the government. But without a doubt, the people of Nevis got to deliver Nevis. Right. If NRP is the next vital party there, you know, the people are going to have to rally. The people are going to have to rally. But undoubtedly, both governments should fall, and history should be made in this Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Right. Both governments falling at the same time. I'll leave it there, man. Thanks a lot.
Very cool. All right.
No, I am simply saying, all right, I hear all this thing. And isn't something fundamentally wrong with that approach? The corporation vests the lands in its thing, and then afterwards it sells it to the private people to accommodate.
But you have heard the Premier say that the government is not in the business of selling any land. So Let us. There's a call waiting.
What they do? Give them away.
Good afternoon. You're on target.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Oh yes, sir.
Interesting conversation about land ownership. The reality is, just to say that my land don't mean own. We have a legal system of land ownership.
Mm-hmm.
There are two types of registration: title by deed and certificate of title.
Right.
In both instances, the owner of the land is supposed to have a copy of either the deed or the title, and the registry holds a copy of the registration of either deed or title. Both are perfectly legal ways of holding land.
Right.
But if there's a section of land and there's no legal ownership, okay, this should have been done long ago. No, it should go.
I agree. I agree.
Land should take it.
I agree.
And it becomes the people's.
That's right.
Plural
That's right.
land.
That's right.
But for it to just suddenly jump up like this,
You don't believe in coincidence?
I believe in expediency, maybe, but not coincidence. It's an extraordinary. Well, are they only doing it in that area, or are they looking at the rest of the island as well?
They're focusing on that area, Long Point to Indian Castle.
For now.
In my view, the whole point of a cadastral survey is that you find anomalies like this, and you get proper ownership of every piece of land, and they go from boundary to boundary.
Right.
And if it becomes, I'd call it crown land, because I think people understand that better than the NHLBC thing is. It's basically crown land.
Right.
So if it's then vested in it, then the government is in a position to actually do housing projects.
Exactly.
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 Lease it out for agriculture.
You know
blah,
what I mean?
blah, blah. So this should be done island-wide. It shouldn't be done just to
by zones
to facilitate one instance in one moment in time. It should be done for perpetuity.
Perfectly
all
said.
through the island.
Perfectly said. Thank you for calling.
That's just my pleasure.
All right, man. Thanks. All right. We had another call waiting here. Let me see if they're still here. Good afternoon, call. You're still there? Hello?
That's what should happen.
Everything is there. We lost that call. There was a call on the long line and lost it. So, there's another call coming in here. Good afternoon. You're on target.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to good afternoon, Hensley. Good afternoon to all the listeners.
Yeah.
I plan to call him today, but I put in my passport here. So now let me follow the argument here. So it becomes Copland, right?
Yes.
But remember, President Brantley tell we plain and square government is not selling any lands to those people. So how are you work out this?
Do you believe
okay then.
Thank you, man.
Okay then. All right.
Well, the caller is right, and I said it earlier. The Premier has said the government is not in the business of selling any land to the SSZ. And he made it even further that his wife is not in the business of selling any lands, government lands to SSC. He has made that two very, very, very important points.
So how will these lands end up with the SSZ?
That's what he said then. This is an evolving situation. We weren't supposed to know, you know.
I know.
We weren't supposed to know.
I know.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon. Let's conversation while you got about land. If something no map, who want it going to be? Something has to map. Because you come out the studio this afternoon and you're going home and you find a 20 year old. You don't get the station, who want own it? Who want keep it? Unless you got to gas it.
Yes,
so you in the land that got for 30 and something years, something I go mark, otherwise nobody gonna claim it, government gonna claim them.
Yeah.
So the two man that with you talking, they were talking right because you know what saying the government could claim them. They don't got no name. You can't have one stone and no stick all the now. Because in Sink it here, they used to get bone and so, and people try kettles and so from people land. And then they had to mark them over. So you know what they do? They put down steel down in the ground. And when they're going to go clean the land now, the man them come in the special detective this thing, and they just pass, and they hear the ring.
Okay. Thank
Because
you.
people come just to move up and down.
Okay.
That's cut from people land for years and go feed up with them. People don't have nothing in the land. So you're right. You got to get a name to claim them. All right.
Thank you.
A government that looks after its people. Let's take the call.
Oh, yeah,
We can default to the call.
You're supposed to get calls over the matter.
Good afternoon, on target. Make it quick, please.
Yes, Daly, I'm going to be brief. I didn't finish what I was saying. I am going to say it's a good thing I have a copy of the registry.
But you're safe. If you have a copy, you're safe.
You're good to go.
You're good to go.
Yes, I do. I went to the courthouse in Nevis.
You're good to go.
And I have my family have 1 acre. So all I'm simply saying, I hope they don't go beyond.
No. Once you have that, you're good to go. You have no worries.
No.
Well, I'm not worried, you know. I was just concerned about the Pac-Man thing. Yeah.
Okay, brother.
Okay?
Thank you, man.
But to all those who are not certain, go and check the status of your land as of today, moving forward. If it don't, do some action on it.
All right. Good advice. Thank you very much. All right.
No, you see, the initial argument you were using, Kelly, is okay. Yeah, you don't have any land, so you can be taken by the government. But step 2 is the worry. You said the Premier say the government is not in the process of selling.
Well, if you believe the government,
Listen, the government should be looking after the interests of its citizens.
Hear you over there again. Hear you again. When last they did, everything begins with evidence.
Notice I said should be.
So why you get with
Okay.
should? Just say they don't.
The thing is, I have no problem that the records, the official record says that this piece of land, whatever the amount is, does not have an owner because there's no ownership to it. And so the law says that it comes back to the people of Nevis. Have no problem with that. Where I have the problem, and I agree with Dr. Daly, is when the government will take that land that belongs to the people of Nevis and siphon it off to the client of the Premier's wife and maybe the Premier himself for them to get that land. Should not happen. And again, this should cause the people of Nevis to stand up and to rise up and to understand that this concerned citizens movement and due administration are selling us down the drain. In St. Kitts, Dr. Drew is making sure, and he is boasting that he is empowering his people by giving them land. I think they said they give them 160-something pieces of land to St. Kitts, and that will empower the people of St. Kitts. But Dr. Joe has something in place that is taking lands from the people of Nevis and putting it into the hands of clients of the Premier and the Premier's wife. This must outrage every one of us.
Kel, I think the caller before mentioned that the approach should be, you said they find 220 acres in that area over there. The chances are, if you do the whole island, you get another 200, 300. Possibly. But the caller was saying this is land to develop for agriculture and so on and so on and so on. So maybe away from the SSZ scenario is a good approach to go find the lands and make the call. And once those lands are not owned by anybody, you have an opportunity for housing, for agriculture and the works.
All right. We're moving on. We are already past the hour of 3. 5 minutes past 3, just about. And we got one more thing to cover before we leave, because there is a program coming up later on which we can't stay the normal time. Where is it now? We did the facial update. We did the airport update. You want to hear the airport update?
You bet. No,
I haven't heard anything about that for so long. I thought about it's dead.
It's gone. It's gone.
The airport update. There is no update.
You're willful.
The last update we had was in July of 2025, and the Premier advised that he was seeking to draw down funds from the National Bank to pay landowners. You recall that the federal government made a facility of 20 million available to be drawn down in tranches, as the Premier would have indicated. And so he indicated to us the first tranche was drawn down, and as far as I know, from July until present, only one owner has been paid. The others have not seen a dime. And it begs the question then, with all of the landowners that are in queue waiting to be paid out and be relocated for the expansion project, it's a $140 million expansion project, that only one has bought, one has been paid out, and it makes you wonder, gentlemen. We have an advisor for international development.
That's right. I'm here thinking, go ahead.
And he's being paid approximately $120,000 a year of taxpayers' money. And how do you square this circle, gentlemen, where this guy is being pigeonholed? One job, lead off on the airport development. That's all you do.
That's what we are told.
And from July until now, matter of fact, he, in February, the advisor, advised us that come March, they will start the airport project. And then the Premier came and said, no, don't study the Kunumuno there. He ain't know what he's talking about. We are going to break ground in June. End of June, by the latest. And then the advisor came back and said, I was right, I was wrong, I'm sorry. The Premier now says October. In October. Last line. Now we're into November. Today the 15th. And we have no update.
This is one thing that dominates.
How do you square that circle 2 weeks?
Simple.
You can't square that.
Simple, yes. You have a square peg in a round hole.
Man, you can't square that.
You have a square peg in a circle.
Again, this is absolute corruption. It is absolute robbery of the people of Nevis, because in no institution anywhere around the world that you will hire a CEO to deliver a project or a product, and you're paying them 1 year pass, 2 year pass, 3 year pass, and this thing cannot move off the ground, and you still have the money.
No, let me ask.
But this is more than giving the gentleman a pigeonhole, or is giving him a pigeonhole to have money to run a political campaign. It's happened before. It happened with the hospital plan development, and this is happening again. This is all using the public purse to show up politicians to run for elected office.
Do you believe that it was intended, that the appointment was intended to deliver?
No.
Of course it was.
No.
Of course it was.
Deliver what?
The airport project has been prosecuted. They have the surveys, they have the engineers, they have the drawings. They intended to pursue it. We can't discount that. They intended to pursue the project. They needed to find a place to put Zook. After he lost the local elections, they put him there, paid him $116,000 a year to do exactly nothing. So the intent was clear. They know that this position conflicts directly with the authority and statutory regulations of NASPA. They know that. But they put him there because they had to find a feasible reason, a logical reason.
So you shouldn't be surprised that nothing happened then.
You're not surprised by it. But when you look at cumulatively from 2022 until now, that guy has gone home with $400,000.
Not a bad piece of change.
And then knew
$400,000.
And they knew that he could not have delivered anything to do with the airport because he has a clue. So what I'm saying, the reason why he's in that position, the very same way that Spencer was given a job to design a hospital which has no clue, both of them follow the same pathway. It is to make sure, this is my opinion, that these people has money to run electoral campaigns.
It goes without saying, Tulu. We have been prosecuting the case against Zook and Latoya Jones over there in St. James, in St. Thomas, sorry, using the public purse to do exactly as they're describing. They're being paid to campaign. There's no doubt about that. They've been paid to campaign, and any red-blooded division who can justify using public money in this fashion, and then you yourself can't even buy a loaf of bread and a Vienna and a can of sardine because things tough. But you are sanctioning Latoya Jones and you're sanctioning Zook Jaffers to walk away with public money when so many retired pensioners can't get their money, can't get a pension, can't get the gratuity? Then there's something wrong with us.
Well, we have to look at this.
Something is wrong with us.
How could we sanction Mark Brantley, who is an abject failure, that has run our economy and our island so low down that he's saying to us, in order for us to survive, we have to bring in 10,000 people and we must not question their background, whoever they are, whether they're racist, they are criminals, they are rapists, whatever. Just bring them in. And he's saying to us, that is our survival. When we would have came from nothing, that we start an economy with $250,000 to run an island, to bring it up to the point where we were the apple of the eyes of the region, to now the premier is saying to us that if destiny does not come, we will be no more. How could we sanction he as the premier?
Well,
how could we sanction his deputy? Nobody in the cabinet, the government can be sanctioned.
It is not one or the other. All of them.
Okay, good.
All right. You made a point that the appointment goes against the statutory rules and regulations establishing NASFA, right?
Yeah.
So therein lies the problem.
Well, we know that.
Therein lies the problem. So there was no intent for any delivery
Listen,
of anything.
if we're going to sit here trying to justify the employment of...
Cannot be
justified. We're going to be here all day.
Cannot be justified.
We got to move on. One more thing before we leave. One more thing. The hospital update. One more thing.
Update?
The hospital update. There's no update.
You almost threatened me, brother.
Well, I'll tell you one update from the hospital.
There's no update. Let me finish. The extension, there's no update on that. It's been 3 years since this hospital project has been in dormancy, in mothballs.
Since no work has been done?
3 years. The services part, the supply side, is a problem. Mm-hmm. There was an article, there was a post appearing on OB's page this week where one person wrote in to complain of the absence of IV drip, and for some time, I mean, because of the SSZ oxygen deficit, I haven't had the time to devote to anything but the SSZ, but I've been compiling the issues at the hospital for some time, waiting for an opportunity, and that presented itself, a golden opportunity to throw in my little 2 cents. And what I found out, gentlemen, is that what the young lady complained about to Obi was only the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. Just the tip. The other part, the real part of the iceberg, lay below the sea as normal. There are, for the last month, over a month, no IV fluids with regards to paracetamol, some antibiotic injectables non-present, Voltaren, which is a major anti-pain, anti-inflammation drug, absent. Vitamin B complex injections, absent. And you know, vitamin B complex, if you remember our classroom lessons here about health tips.
You don't have any health tips these days?
Immediate. It treats, because it's injectable, it immediately gives relief for vitamin B deficiency type symptoms, low energy levels, nerve damage, metabolism issues. You don't have, if you allow them to simply take the tablet and let it go through the normal process of digestion and absorption, it takes too long, and you might not get all of it. These injectables is an immediate access in your blood to have these things. Not only that, right? The water, the highly purified water, they call it the injection water, is water for injection. It's a solvent used to dilute these injectables. There was no water. The kitchen, November, I remember, and I went back in my notes, November 30th, 2021.
4 years out.
All right? The Brantley took a tour of the kitchen up near the hospital and said to us on camera, we are constructing a brand new kitchen facility to serve the entire hospital and the Flamboyant Home Complex. This is an investment for the next 40 years. These were his words. November 30th, 2021.
This is 2025.
This is now November 15th, 2025.
Kitchen up and running?
Kitchen not finished. The food is still being cooked down by the Flamboyant Home. One pot for the hospital and the same pot for the Flamboyant Home. And if you get admitted after the food done served, dog dead with you, can no more pot there.
Well,
your family better bring food, and they better bring paracetamol, and they better bring Voltaren, because they got none of them.
No, but just to say, Kel, that to get private supply of the IV fluid, it costs $350. The people to get it. Fortunately, there's a private provider. $350 it takes to get the fluid.
What is your point?
The point is that the people would not prepare to pay $350. You have to cough up $350 when you go to the hospital. You get
How many people?
Huh?
The patients?
The patients.
You're talking about the supply not being in the hospital?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When the hospital doesn't have it, you go, a private person has it.
Okay.
And it costs you $350
So it
to
is,
cough up $350.
so it's deliberate not to have it so that you can buy it from the private person.
I don't think it's deliberate.
No.
I don't think it's deliberate. I think it's
a management problem in terms of supply and demand.
I think, well,
but if you can provide supplies and you know what you have,
I think
you have to buy them before.
I think, you're right, Tulu.
No.
The government has decided to cut corners on healthcare. It is clear.
Cut corners?
To cut corners on healthcare. They can boast as much about anything they like, but if you're not making sure that these essential
basics,
if you're not doing the basic investment in trying to make patient care priority, then you will make sure that these things are not in stock. The pharmacy is a joke as far as I'm hearing. And if you have a junior minister and a senior minister of health, and you got all these people, administrators and all these people, and you still can't keep basic medicines in stock, I can't other than describe it as being negligent.
But it's gross negligence.
It's not somewhat negligent. No, I believe it is planned, because at one point, when they decided that they'll stop do certain things at the dispensary and start to pay, I think the premier or somebody in ministry is saying that the pharmacies were complaining that the hospital pharmacies were competing with them because certain things they were giving out. And so the hospital pharmacy do not provide them, so now the pharmacies provide them. And for me, it was a calculated effort to make sure that we spend money by the pharmacies, and the government will admit I don't have the money to buy them, and so the pharmacy will provide, and you go to the pharmacy and buy them.
Last call. Last call for today. Good afternoon.
Good
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir.
I tell you what, right? If you needed an excavator, a couple big trucks to carry those medications up to the hospital, the pharmacy would be fully stocked.
Okay.
Wow.
Have a good day, sir.
Wow.
No, but think about it, guys. If you go to the hospital, you say they've been out for a month. Just imagine you go to the hospital with your regular thing, they tell you don't feel well, they want to give you some IV fluid. You got to cough up $350.
Well, we heard that. Anyway, folks.
Just before you go, let me answer a question that Hensley raised earlier. I think it's crucial because he asks, why would the investors of Destiny continue to pursue that development in light of the outcry that is taking place in the Federation? Why they continue to do it? There's a number of reasons. These people has been fighting for a long time to find a home. They wanted a home. They've been fighting for that. Everybody wants a home.
The homeless?
They're homeless. They see Nevis as their home. They would have already forked out money, lots of money, to get their home. They have the leader of Nevis, the premier, who is fully on board with them. And remember, the premier of Nevis says to us that he alone speaks for us. After we voted, we no longer have a voice. And so these people are focusing upon one thing. We have the opportunity to find a place for us to do what we want to do and to take over. They are not going to back down. The only person who can change that right now is Dr. Drew, or we the people need to force Dr. Drew to do it. The very same way, again, they force Kennedy Simmons to call early election. People power is greater than the people who holds power. We need to have our collective power again together and force Drew to reverse and say the people do not want this. And so I am going to repeal it. Thank you.
One thing, we want we land. We want we say. Everybody to that we go and hold on today.
We want we land. We want we say. So you going home? We want we say. So our sentence are going home. Rise up with way.
We need our land for our children's sake. Hold on strong, we will make no mistakes.
We want we land. We want we say. For our sentence we going home. Hold on to your land.
One day you will need it. Keep it in your hand. For children yet unborn. We must take a stand. Davis people rise up, protect our blessed land.
We want we land. We want we say. For our descendants we going home.
Keep out the curry. Don't come to play. Nevis people rise up. We not give it way.
Yeah, the horn solo. Down the road. Load of horn. What? Load of horn solo.
We want we land. We want we say. For our descendants, we going hold on today. To keep out our jobs. Don't come to play. Leave his people rise up. We not give it way. We want we land. We want we say. For our descendants, we going hold on today. To keep out our glory. Don't come to play. Leave his people rise up. We not give it way.
Let's go to down the road. Prince William Street. Massive. We're going down. Newtown. What? All right. See you next week, Saturday. Same time, same station. Three of us will be here again, having fun with you, educating each other. Thank you for joining. Thank you for staying the course. God bless. Have a safe weekend. We catch up on you on the flip side. Be out.
One time. Yeah, it's just me. Do as good as I can. And I've done my best. But if it's not good enough for you, don't blame me. Cause nobody not perfect. I try and know where you're right.